All right, so we are on and we are recording. For those of us who are just joining, I want to say thank you for joining us. We're still waiting for a few other people to get logged in and logged on. So I do have everybody on mute so we can get a clean recording and just some housekeeping. This will be roughly about a half an hour webinar, excuse me. And while we are waiting, I just want to let you guys know that we are going to be recording the webinar. I do have you on mute so that everybody can get a clean recording of it afterwards. If you do have questions, please put them inside of the question box at the bottom and we will address them at the end. That way, if there's anything that's overlapping, we can again make sure that you guys get out of here on time. All right, so I have a few more people checking in and just wanted to let you know that you are here for the Veterinary Practice Profits webinar. We are here with Debbie Damesworth today talking about dropship pet food, and we are about ready to get started. One more time, if you do have questions, please put them in the chat box, and we will address them at the end. And I do have everybody on mute, so that way we can get a clean recording. And also, if you do want to see this webinar or other webinars that we have done, excuse me one more time there, they will be available within a day or so on our website at thevetsbestfriend.com. And if you do have questions for me specifically, my email address is on the screen. All right. So it looks like we got most everybody here. Let's go ahead and get started. My name is Jared Sparr, and I'll be your host today. I'm the founder of the Vet's Best Friend, and we are a group of consultants that work together to help veterinarians kind of make their business more efficient and more profitable. And we bring you guys webinars on different subject lines that are based on surveys that we do. And typically the surveys, oh, I don't know why it's not forwarding. There it goes. The surveys are very interesting because they provide us with feedback of what's important to you guys. So that's how we got the subject matter for today's webinar, which is veterinary practice profits on dropship pet food. And we are with Debbie Damesworth from Life's Abundance. And Debbie, if you could really quickly, well, first of all, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Hi, Jared.
If you could tell me how you got started inside of the pet food business.
Well, I can quickly tell you that in the pet food recall of 2007, if you all remember, my little cat died in that pet food recall.
Oh,
Yes, a can that she had eaten, and she was gone in about 3 days. And so my husband researched, and we thought, wow, we eat healthy. We didn't even think about, do our pets really, what are they really eating? And so we researched and we found Life's Abundance. And we got two new kittens, and they've been thriving on that ever since. But we did the research, and we knew that this was something close and dear to my heart, that I really want to educate pet parents and professionals on what is in the food, such as byproducts and corn and all of that that's bought over in China. So that's how I got started in the business, because of a passion to teach pet parents how to read the labels, because I lost my cat.
oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't even know that story. That's funny. After all the time that we've worked together, I still didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know you didn't know that.
It's a small world. Well, I talked about this a little bit before, and we do, as a Vet's Best Friend, have an ongoing survey on our website. We also conducted one at the Michigan Veterinary Association trade show. Um, and I wanted to ask you, as a practice, or as a veterinary practice owner or a practice manager, you probably have issues where you're like, oh, I have so hard to just break even, make the payments every month, and find a way to generate more revenue without generating more overhead. And that's kind of where we came up with this is dropship pet food is a way for you to generate more revenue and more income for your business without generating more overhead, more time, and more inventory. So it's a great way for you to generate more revenue for your business. And if that issue of trying to generate more revenue sounds familiar, then you are in the right place. And Debbie's going to help you with it today. So first question I have for you, Debbie, is how can I, as a veterinarian, make money with dropship pet food?
Well, right now, vets, for the most part, stock their food and they sell it off the shelf. If they don't have what the customer needs, then they don't have a sale, because it's not there sitting on their shelf. So there's a lure of convenience from the customer to go to the grocery store and just get some brand name there if they don't really know what they're looking for. With our products, the vet promotes the product and gives out the samples. They don't have to stock anything on their shelves. They can just have samples, and so that the customers can see what they're talking about. But they have a link to their website. So there's like a replicator site that they can have through the company, and the customer goes to the vet site and places their order there. So there's no inventory to carry. There's no lost sales due to lack of inventory, for one thing, because it's unlimited with the company. And it does come right to their door, which is nice, within a day or so of their order. So they don't lose any sales due to the inconvenience, and there's no stale food. That's the big thing because they get it fresh. It's made fresh every week. Um, so customers are also encouraged to go on an auto ship so that automatically, say every 3 weeks or every 2 months, they get it sent right to their door. So that saves too. And then the vet gets the commissions on all that sales.
So it's an ongoing
And
income.
yeah, it keeps on going. And, there's other good things about it for the vet is they can speak directly to the formulator, who's also a holistic veterinarian. And it just makes it really easy and accessible for them.
And I think what's different too is with a lot of, I won't say competitors, but just providers in general, they want you to purchase as a veterinarian their products and resell them, but that's all they give you is here's our products, resell them, and we might even give you like a special display to put them in. Whereas with what we're offering or what Life's Abundance has is it's actually kind of a turnkey system where we offer the products for the veterinarian, but it's also um, the replicator website. And then we actually have a business administrator who works with the veterinarians to show them how to promote the products. We have a monthly special where it might be, say, for example, pet food 1 month, and it might be ear or dental the next month. So that way we have scripts and something new for your staff to work with.
Right. Yes, that's good.
And let's see what else we had here. Why would a customer want to buy from a website versus something convenient like a grocery store?
Well, they can go and they can research. Um, they can um, really read about the products. In the grocery store, most of they don't know who the formulators are either. So if there's a question, they can call the formulator. They can call the office. Um, they can talk to someone at the office about the food in detail, about the ingredients that are in it, what each one is made for, such as the food and the supplements and the treats are made as a full nutritional system. So when you go in the store, you're kind of lost because the people that work at the stores, especially the big box stores, they work there for Myers or for Costco or for Sam's, but Pet Supply Plus, they don't know the products like this company does. And beyond that, they've never had a recall.
Hmm.
So that's really important. They can contact the customers within 15 to 20 minutes, either by phone or by email, if there was a problem. It's made in small batches, so they keep track of the number that goes to the customer who gets the bag or whatever that they're using. It's shipped in climate controlled vehicles that ensures the freshness. In fact, when it's shipped, if it gets to the distribution plant and the seal on the truck is broken, they'll refuse the shipment. That's how tough the safety standards are with Life's
Wow.
Abundance. Even the bags are created, the packaging, to keep the plastic from leaching into the food because it's a different type of bag that she has. So even the formulator, our Dr. Jane, personally inspects the manufacturing facilities routinely to make sure everything's clean because it's made in a human bakery in Lima, Ohio.
Yeah, and with one of the vets that we were working with recently, it was interesting to find out because he said, "Well, what if there's a problem if that at the facility where you guys make the food? Does it mean that the pet food just stops getting shipped?" And Dr.
Mm-mm.
Jane told me, "No, no, we actually have two backup facilities in different parts of
Right.
the country. So if there's an earthquake or a hurricane or something, we always have a backup in place," which was really neat.
Yeah. Yeah. That's real. That's impressive. That one's in New York, the backup plant. Yep.
That is cool. And then the other thing I thought was interesting too was that, excuse me, the website, the replicator site that the veterinarian would get actually has cost comparisons and
Yes.
ingredient comparisons so that the pet owners can compare what their food is compared to Life's Abundance and kind of see, maybe it's this light same price as like a neutral, but there's a lot more benefits to it.
That's correct. Because some people kind of argue about, oh, I don't want to pay that shipping, but um, really, when you figure it out per cup and per bag, they're getting a much better food for their money. So,
And it's that per serving was a really interesting number that was on the website too. So
right, right, per serving and per cup, they break it down. that way so you can tell.
And then we kind of brought up that the big R word, the recall. What would happen if there was a recall? How do you guys control that?
Well, like I kind of explained a few seconds ago, we make all the food in small batches so that if there was a recall, it would affect only a small amount of customers with the direct shipping. And we know which customers they have the list. It's their names are connected to the number that's on the small batches, and so that they have a system in place to contact them quickly to let them know if there's a problem. Now, I've been in this business 7 years, and this business has been around 14 years, and they've never had to use their system yet. There's no other pet food you can purchase off the shelf has this capacity. They don't know who their customers are, and they can't reach them. So then they hush it because there's constant recalls. I have a website that an email that comes to me weekly, and there's constant recalls, especially with treats. And you
Wow.
don't see it in the media. I mean, until it's bad, you don't know about it. So if there's anything that could go wrong, they can contact their customer within 15 or 20 minutes.
So with traditional, say, on the shelf type pet food, they could have a recall and the customer might not know about it for 2 or 3 months.
That's right, exactly.
Wow. All right. And we talked about shipping costs. What exactly does that include?
Well, the shipping costs, Life's Abundance actually subsidizes. They use UPS and the U.S. Postal Service, and it's 8.85 no matter what you order, between $15 and $500. So if you buy one $15 bag of food, it's 8.85. If you buy a 40-pound bag and three containers of treats and bones and maybe shampoo, it's still 8.85. It doesn't go by the weight for Life's Abundance. So they subsidize that because UPS does definitely get their cost from Life's Abundance. So no matter where you're located in the United States, it's 8.85.
Which makes it more predictable. But I think, it's kind of good to point out that I think a lot of consumers are like, well, wait a second, I have to pay dollars for shipping when I can just go pick it up myself. Well, of course, and there's always that convenience of having it shipped directly to you as well, and of course the cost of gas and time. But I think if you use the auto ship program as a consumer, that having it shipped directly to your door is so nice. I mean, it just makes life
Yes.
easy, and we've used it in the past for our two dogs. And what was kind of interesting was, there was times when, for whatever reason, maybe the dog stayed at our parents for a week while we were on vacation, where we had extra food and we could just make a really
Right.
quick phone call to Life's Abundance, and they would delay our shipment by a week to accommodate us. So it was really convenient and really easy.
Right. And it works the other way. If you see, oh my goodness, my dog's eating more than normal, which really, whose fault is that if they're eating more than normal? You're feeding them. You're giving them the extra food. You can call and say, I need a shipment today, and they'll ship it out, and you usually have it the next day. So that's good. That works out great.
Very cool. All right, so we talked a little bit about it being manufactured in Ohio. Tell me a little bit more about where the food's manufactured.
Well, Dr. Jane knows this family that's a third generation family that's owned a human bakery in Lima, Ohio. So they don't just make our pet food there, they make human breads and baked goods. And it is made in small batches at a low temperature, so it keeps the ingredients as nutritious as possible. And they only use the white chicken breast meat that comes from the free range farmer. And also, Dr. Jane knows the farmer who raises the chickens, and she's known him for over 30 years. So it has no steroids, there's no hormones in the meat, which really is the cause of a lot of pet allergies. Is the hormones, is the steroids, not necessarily the chicken. So once it's manufactured, then like I said before, it's shipped in sealed temperature controlled trucks to our climate controlled distribution facilities, which are located in Chicago, California, and Florida. And they're also thinking about adding another one in the New York area.
Hmm.
So they ensure the safety and quality of the final product because they strictly control it from the preparation to packaging to storage. So, and again, there is a backup facility, like I said, in New York, if anything ever happened, but nothing ever has.
And this is something that I might be getting ahead of myself, but I just made a note of probiotics. One thing that, again, I was talking to one of the vets that we were working with on this project was probiotics. And in traditional pet food, because it is shipped or manufactured and stored and shipped, and it usually sits on a shelf for months at a time, if there are probiotics in there, they've long past expired. They just died on the shelf, so to speak. And I think that's what's neat about Life's Abundance is because of that timing issue from when it's actually manufactured to in the customer's home, the probiotics are still active. Is that correct?
That's correct. They're still live.
So that way
And
it can.
we're about the only food, Dr. Jane will claim, that it's in on the back on the in the ingredients where it lists it, that it's live enzymes that are still in the probiotic in the food. Now, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a chemist. I'm not I don't have all the credentials Dr. Jane has. I don't understand how something can still be live, but it is. So I believe her. I've known her. I've talked to her personally. So, and she says it is. It is.
Yeah, and I think that's important too, because like I said, my two dogs are getting older, and they're actually on a probiotic supplement as they're getting older. And with
Right.
Life's Abundance, they wouldn't have to do that.
Right. They wouldn't. They would not have to do that. Same
All
with the
right.
antioxidants, the probiotics, the antioxidants, the chelated minerals, all of that. Dr. Jane was first to have any of that in the foods that are in Life's Abundance.
And I think this is where I might be overlapping from, but tell me how Life's Abundance is different from other kind of off-the-shelf brands or even some of the other holistic brands that are sold.
Well, yeah, sometimes I do get ahead of myself. I'm just so ecstatic about what Life's Abundance represents. It was born 14 years ago, like I said, out of a belief that both people and pets deserve healthier, more effective products to keep them living a good, solid, fulfilling life. Now, Dr. Jane, who is the formulator, who I mentioned before, she's also a holistic veterinarian. She has pharmaceutical background. She has long-term relationships with our suppliers. So she makes sure that we have the highest quality ingredients. So again, there's no chemical preservatives or artificial colors. There's no corn, wheat, or soy, or any gluten. So that is technically um, grain free. Although some people would say that rice is, you have to have a little bit of a carb to pull it together, and she'd rather use brown rice than potato.
Hmm.
So, and there's no ugly byproducts. Now, if you don't know what a byproduct is, that could be anything that's left over from the animal that's used to be put in the meat. Byproduct could be a roadkill. It could be euthanized animals. Yes, I know that sounds horrific. I thought it was when I first found out about it, but also there's companies that have contracts with pet food companies, and so they have contracts with veterinarians. And so if they have an animal that's euthanized, it goes to that company and it's put in the pet food. Not our food though. That's a byproduct, and we don't have that. So what we had mentioned before with the probiotics, the guaranteed analysis on the back of um, the bag will tell you that that's live, and most brands can't claim that. So we have powerful, as I mentioned, antioxidants, chelated minerals that increases the absorption in the body of the pet, and omega-3 fatty acids are in the food. So they don't have to have a separate omega oil pill either.
Hmm.
So it was the Life's Abundance, like I said, was the first to add these ingredients, and it's delivered directly to your house in 1 to 3 days, or your store or your veterinary office. Can be ordered online or by the phone, depending on what you
Whatever.
want to do. So
So whatever the customer's comfortable with.
yeah.
And
Some
then,
people don't want to put their credit cards online, so you can call.
uh-oh, did we lose you?
If you go online and put
There
your
you go.
credit card, you have to put it in every time you go. But when you call the order in, they keep it online, and all you have to do, I mean, they keep it in their files, and all you have to do is give them the 3-digit code on the back, so you're not constantly repeating yourself.
Okay. And then when you talked about byproducts, I,
Yeah.
I'm not sure where else this was, but I thought it was very interesting where um, I think it was from Google Alerts is one of those that I had set up. And one of the byproducts where the larger food companies was putting in was actually the feathers of the
Yes.
chicken? I'm like,
Feathers, beaks, grizzle, the
how is
bone cut up.
that?
I mean, it's all the leftovers that could kind of describe our hot dogs for people, the leftovers that are from an animal put together. So yeah, the byproducts are ugly. I just always tell people if there's one thing you want to look on the back of your bag of whatever food you're feeding, if it says animal byproduct of any kind, just drop that bag. You don't want it.
So if you don't want to eat it yourself, why would you feed it to your pet?
That's right. Because you also have no idea how long food in the big box stores have been sitting on the shelf, sitting in the truck, sitting in the back room. You don't know. You have no idea. And
Yeah,
we know that your food is no older than 4 to 6 weeks old when you get it from manufacturer to distribution plant to your place.
wow.
And I've personally toured one of the distribution plants, and it's immaculate. Nothing's on the floor.
So what other products does Life's Abundance have besides pet food?
Well, we have, like I said, a full nutritional system. So we have baked treats, we have supplements, we have bones, and then we also have grooming products and ear care products. So the treats are wonderful. They're for specific needs. We have a healthy heart treat, and that is, of course, for the heart and the respiratory system. The antioxidant bars is for keeping the body in tune. The dental treats, they're to keep the digestion going smoothly, the bad breath, and just the teeth, as it says, dental treats. Then we have another treat that's called a training treat. They're called Tasty Rewards, and those you can put in your pocket very easily. They look like a little tiny beef jerky, although they're lamb and chicken. And they can fit in your pocket, and they're great for training puppies or just treating your dog when you take going for a walk and they do their business and you give them a little treat and you pick it up and you go on your way. And
Hmm.
cats only have one. We have lots of things for the dogs. Cats only have one treat, but cats are pickier. And so she's very particular about how she makes her cat food and treats and supplements, and especially the canned food, because she'll say the canned food for cats is essential. They never drink enough water. The canned food for the dogs is not. It's more of a treat, more of a topper for those who we spoiled with table food and things like that. So that's what she'll do with that. And then there's also an amazing foundation that she set up for rescue groups, and it's called the Healthy Pet Net Foundation. And Dr. Jane awards one or two worthy rescue groups every quarter about $1,500 to help their cause. And all they have to do is fill out a form. They don't need to buy the food. They don't need to represent the food. They don't need to use the food, but they do it. And there's a list. You can go into the website and you can see all the rescue groups across the country that she helps every single quarter, every single year.
That's cool.
So I find that amazing. That's that in itself is just wonderful.
Yeah, and we talked about it before that the if you sign up as a veterinarian to resell the food, that you actually get a business coordinator who helps you every month with staff
Hmm.
and training and products and so forth. So it makes it more of a turnkey product instead of a do it yourself.
Right, and Dr. Jane specifically wants to meet and talk to any veterinarians. So most people out there can't contact a formulator. I'm sure that the veterinarians out there who have food on their shelves now from pet food companies can't talk to the formulator if they have a question. Dr. Jane will talk. She'd set up a weekly or a monthly schedule with veterinarians just to talk to see if they need it. And she knows veterinarians are very, very busy, but if they need to, she's available.
Cool. Something that you don't see every day.
No, you don't.
Okay, so as a pet owner, how would they go about ordering the products?
Okay, so pet owners, they order online or over the phone, like I said. So what the veterinarian would do would have a website, would be with their website, they have a little link to the replicator site of Life's Abundance. And so they would either do that or they can use the 800 number to call, and they would tell them that they were under Dr. Simon, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And once they put their first order in and they know that they're under Dr. Simon, they never have to tell them that again because they keep strict records in the office, in the headquarters, and they know who belongs to who. So it is a network marketing company. So they're not sold in the stores, and they never will be. Mom and pop store maybe, but not the big um, box stores because there's no chemical preservatives. So it can't be on the shelf and it can't be in the back room. And they want to have the product flow. So we don't push our vet partners to get into the business end of this and recruit additional vendors, even though if they do talk to people, others, other veterinarians they know or groomers they know, and they decide to get in, it is another way to earn some more business by having some of those professionals under them. Because groomers and breeders are very good in this business too. They can generate more beyond their own reach. Again, we try to make it easy. You do what you do best, and I know that your your vet's best friend will do the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that works really good that way.
So it's a nice way for a vet to earn a lot of additional revenue without a lot of overhead or even a lot of work.
Right, no overhead, no work, just by word of mouth. I mean, you know yourself, word of mouth, you can tell someone about a good movie, they go see it. You don't get paid because they go there, or even a veterinarian. You refer someone to a really good veterinarian and they go, you don't get a kickback because you referred your friend to go to them. But with this, they don't hardly have to do anything, just refer to the food and refer to a groomer or a breeder and to join, and they get the benefit of residual income.
It's nice. All right, so we can open up to questions, and I don't see anything in the chat box yet. But and again, I'm just have everybody on mute just so you do remember that. If you do have a question, stick it in the chat box and we'll answer it. Um, but while we're waiting, real quick question for you, Debbie. How does a vet go about getting set up to, like what would they want to do to start selling Life's Abundance at their office?
Well, they would need to have a rep, such as you, would help them out. They would contact you and me, and we can do three-way calling with them or meet together at their office, whichever's convenient for them. And then it's very simple. The simplest way is to go online. So we use a computer while we're there, and we would sign them up um, under the vet's best friend, as they're the ones that would be their rep above them, so to speak, their upline.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very easy to do that. It takes probably 10 minutes to sign up. They can do two different ways. They can just be a regular field rep for $29.95, and that will include all their paperwork. And then they could order later if they wanted little small samples to give out, or little small 2 and 3 pound bags to have on the shelf to show. Or they could do a one-time executive rep package, which is $240, but that includes over 300 in product. So it would have a lot of the small samples. It's the cheapest way to get a large amount of product on their shelf. And what they would have is a couple 8 pound bags, and they would have a couple 3 pound bags, and they would have a few samples. And that way it's all in one package instead of trying to figure out what they'd like to order. But it's not necessary because you can order exactly what you would want to have on your shelf to show.
Yeah, I think everybody's different in how they want to approach it. The one
Right,
vet we're working with, he doesn't want to do inventory, so literally he has a flyer right now that just refers to the website, and his customers go there and he just explains what the benefits of the food are and gives them the flyer. And I think with him what we'll end up doing is giving him a new flyer every month to explain different benefits of different products that we offer, so it's not repetitive, and he gets some options to have some different sales. But some veterinarians
right,
want to do the inventory, I shouldn't say the inventory, but they want to make a purchase and do free samples because that's probably a more aggressive way of selling it, where you're going to get the customers more likely to sign up and then sign up a lot quicker and generate some
right,
more revenue a lot faster as well.
right. So it's really any way you want to do it. Um, there's no set rules. As being a distributor, there are no rules saying you have to sell this amount this month or this amount in a quarter, or you're no longer a distributor. Life's Abundance doesn't do their network marketing that way. It's your business to do the way you want to do it. There's a 1095 fee per month to have the website, and that's it.
Gotcha. And
So it's pretty simple that way.
I'm not seeing any other questions as of yet, but just popped into my head was um, the cost of the website. We talked about that. Oh, the commissions, because I know that's often a question that comes up is how much money do I make? And I might be inaccurate because there's a different structure based on volume and based on a lot of different things, but generally speaking, for a vet's own sales, it would generate roughly 10% commission, and it could go as high as 20%. Does that sound right?
Right. There's about 7 different ways to get paid. Um, they like the food that say Purina gives you, they probably get 50% because they're not getting any commissions. With Life's Abundance, they would probably have them do the cost, and then they would get 10% off of that. So then they would also then get paid a commission per each product has a certain amount that they get for each product. So it is different all the way across the board. So you're getting paid a retail bonus, plus you're getting paid commissions. And then if you have anyone under you, you're getting paid for them too. So you're getting it 10% to 20% under them. So there's all the different ways that you can get it, which is takes time to sit down and explain all that. Not on a phone call like this, but there's about 7 different ways to get paid.
And I think the bottom line is it's like 10 to 20% depending on volume and some other things that kind of go
Right.
into it. And the bonus of that is you don't have any inventory or overheads. So it's pretty easy to
Exactly.
generate money without having to invest a lot. I
Right.
don't,
You could have absolutely, like we said, no product in your shop at all. You could just have the the literature there and send them right to the website.
I don't see any questions. So for those people who do have questions after the fact or maybe are afraid to ask them online, go ahead and just send me an email. It's on the bottom of the screen right here. It's Jared at the vetsbestfriend.com. And for more information or to contact Debbie, her information's on the screen as well. Debbie from Lice Abundance, Debbie at koalapet.net, and her phone number is 248 446 9648. So is there anything else you wanted to add, Deb?
Wow, I think we really covered everything.
All
It's
right,
um
good.
it's a wonderful, I would just like to add that it is a wonderful food, and it gives you a peace of mind to know they're getting solid nutritional food without any byproducts with and that it's safe, and that everybody has a passion that works with Life's Abundance, and they have a passion to make sure this gets known out there.
And take
And I
care of the
just thank you
animals.
very much, Jared, for your time.
All right, thank you. And just a reminder for everybody that this website will be available on, or this webinar will be available on our website. It's thevetsbestfriend.com. It should be available within the next 24 hours. And again, thanks again, Debbie. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you too. Thank you, Jared, and thank you everybody who's out there listening.
All right, until next time, create a good life. Bye, everybody.